And hello and welcome to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host, and as always, thanks so much for being here today. I hope you enjoyed the show. Well, we're going to highlight a repeat guest, which I hope that you enjoy getting to know again. And we're going to highlight the Shoreline Playwrights. And Teresa Mellifogel, the co-founder, is my guest today. And Terry, so nice to have you again.
So nice. Thank you so much for having us, even though it's just me today, just again.
Well, I was going to say Laura Toma was here with you last time because the audience may remember the interview, which was very special. And she's not with us here today. I know she's busy.
She couldn't make it. She had a meeting, yes.
So I thank you for, in your busy schedule to come out and be with us today.
Thank you, and thank you again for having me.
Now, what we always do, as you probably may remember, is that we go back in time. Why don't you tell us about yourself, reintroduce yourself to the viewer, let us get to know you.
Sure. I've been a playwright now for about 6 years. I've always written, but I was in finance for many, many years. I retired from that, and I decided to pursue my passion once my youngest was on his feet. And I've been doing that, and I've been having a great time. And I was lucky enough to meet Laura in one of my acting pursuits, because I took a little acting thing once just because I thought that would help with my writing. And I met Laura, and we just hit it off, and we decided to form Shoreline Playwrights. We work very well together. We're both very type A, so that really works. Really works.
Now, the Shoreline Playwrights, well, let's step back a second. Did you think, coming from a corporate background, that you would be pursuing your passion in writing and into the theater?
I had written the answer is no. I wasn't sure when I retired, when I said, okay, I'm done with this life, I really want to pursue my passion. And I wasn't sure, I contemplated maybe going for an MFA. Who wants to go back to school when you're in your late 50s? I didn't. And I thought about doing a couple different things, and then one of the gentlemen in my temple is a playwright, and he was talking to me about the Yale Writers Conference, and he was doing the playwriting track. So I signed up, and that's it. I was done. It was love. It just was love at first sight. I love writing dialogue. I love the theater. I love the stage. It's been a really, really fun ride. Really fun.
Did you know when you were talking to him or listening to him that he was doing that track, that might be something that you'd want to pursue yourself?
I knew he was a writer, and I knew he was a playwright. I took him out for lunch just to sort of say, look, I've been in the corporate world for 35, 40 years. Any guidance could you help me? And we sort of just talked about a bunch of things. And then he told me about this workshop. And I sort of knew that I knew I didn't love the whole novel writing thing. I'm not really big into descriptions and that sort of thing, but I do love dialogue. And plays are all about the dialogue and the plot, and so that's kind of like how I veneered is not the right word, but veered in that direction.
Yeah.
And I have been a happy camper, really happy camper.
Did you decide once you got through all of that learning process that you wanted to be a playwright?
Yes. And I had written a play. I mean, clearly it was not in the proper format, but I had gone to see a Broadway show a million years ago, and it was terrible. And I remember turning to my husband, and I remember saying, which, at the time this sounds really obnoxious, I could do better than that. So I had outlined a play, and I had sort of sketched it out. So once I took the class, actually at the class, they actually did some of the scenes of my play, which you just can't imagine what a thrill it is to have actors read your work. It's a great feeling, really great, especially when they're really, really good. And I think the actors that were at the Yale conference were equity actors. Not that community actors aren't great. There's some fabulous community theater actors, but these guys were really professionals.
So what happened from then? What was your next step?
I think from then I saw an article in the paper about a local place that was looking for actors to do script in hand readings. So I thought, okay, I'm on this journey. I have to learn as much as I can. So I signed up. So nervous. I'm not an actor. So nervous, but it was a great experience. And I remember I was cast in 2 shows, and all of our friends were like, oh, we're coming. And I remember saying, no, you're not. I don't want anybody. I said, I realize I have script in hand, but you could still freeze with script in hand. And it gave me a lot of respect for actors and what they do and how they really get into characters and how they add to the written word and to the stories. And then from there, I took some classes at Wesleyan, and I went on another writers conference. And actually, Laura, by that time I had met Laura. Laura was in the actors group. That's where I had met Laura. And I started submitting, and I started taking classes through the Dramatists Guild, just to, because I want to soak up and learn as much as I can. And then Laura and I, in talking about opportunities it's very difficult. It's hard to get established, especially when you're starting later. So in having conversations and looking around, we said, why don't we start just to sort of do our own thing? And, start to put our work out there and sort of like be our best advocates. And Laura knew Ed. I think Ed, who is the artistic director of DramaWorks.
Right.
I think Laura had taken an acting class of his. I think that's how she knows him. And she spoke to him about, could he give us a spot in his theater? And that's how Fall Shorts was born. Which was so much fun and such a great experience.
Let's come back. You're meeting Laura. You decide to form Shoreline Playwrights. Is that what happened? Mm-hmm. And tell us what does it mean?
What does it mean? We sort of decided to pool our strengths to put our work out there. We formed Shoreline Playwrights shortly before doing Fall Shorts, sort of to be a support for each other, sort of to bring our strengths together for when we wanted to put on a production. Because we both have, Laura's very artistic. If you look at our website, Laura's done our website. I'm more of the analytical brain, and I'll do like the advertising and promotion. I don't have any problem knocking on doors, just to sort of get the word out about us. And we're still sort of learning and growing as to where we want to take Shoreline Playwrights. Again, it's all about trying to showcase our work, and we both are interested in learning and growing more as playwrights and as artists.
Now, I watched our last interview, and you two talk with each other all the time. Do you do work together? Are your plays one play?
We haven't done that yet. We do talk, I would say we talk a lot. Sometimes almost daily. We just especially since we have this going on now. But even when we don't, we just sort of like touch base. Hey, I saw this opportunity. Did you know about this? You should submit. Or, oh, there's this workshop coming up. Or, oh, look, I just read this great play. Maybe you would want to read it. We touch base on that a lot, which is a lot of fun.
How is it to have somebody be your partner, if you will, in doing something like this?
It's great. And for me, Laura has been in the theater for many years, over 20 years. She was a dancer, she's taught, so she's very comfortable. I'm still learning. So it's great to have someone who's a partner, who at times is a mentor, who can explain certain things to me. In the beginning I was like, isn't this stage left? Shouldn't this be stage right? Upstage, downstage, all the nuances of theater. So that was great. That's been great for me, and God, I hope it's been great for her too.
I would think so. You're both still together.
We still are together, yeah.
So why don't we talk about what's coming up, which is one of the main reasons. I adore you both, but one of the reasons why I wanted to have you come on the show right away was something that's coming up at DramaWorks. Why don't we talk about it? If we can also show the poster in the background, that would be great too, Emily. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. It's on the screen.
Oh, okay.
Micro shorts. Tell us what it's all about.
So, Laura and I, a couple of years ago, we did fall shorts. So we sort of like the whole shorts idea. So we decided to take it a next step up. Fall shorts were 20-minute pieces. So we said, well, let's do something really fun and different. Let's do 10 5-minute pieces. And at the time, we thought, how fun, how innovative. Now I look back and I'm like, what were we thinking? So we worked really well together. We set up a deadline as to when we had to have our pieces done, when we had to show them to each other, to read to each other, so that we could choose and see what would work for an evening, because we wanted to make sure that we had a balance of a little drama, a little comedy, something maybe a little historical. So some of the pieces were written for this. Some of the pieces we went back to some pieces that we had done for classes that we had taken that maybe were 10-minute pieces, and we could shorten them. And it was actually a lot of fun to try to figure out how to condense something into 5 minutes, but still tell a story, still get something across. So we came up with our pieces, and then it was just a matter of sticking to our timeline. Whenever Laura and I do a piece, we start from the show date and work backwards. Mm-hmm. How many weeks out? When do we need to audition, pick a cast? When do the press releases have to go out? And that timeline is very important because it keeps us on track. And like I said, we thought it was a great idea, which we still do, but what we're realizing is it's still 10 plays. You still have to audition, you still have to have characters, and it's still, each is a little microcosm all on its own. So it's still a lot of work. It's not that 5 minutes makes it any easier.
No.
No.
I'm going to interrupt you. Let's take a break.
Okay.
I'm Deborah Gilbert. You are tuned into Arts and Entertainment. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Not all tax preparers have the same level of experience and training. Better Business Bureau has tips to find the right person to handle your sensitive information. Some preparers can help you with forms and basic matters, but can't represent you in case of an audit. Don't be afraid to ask about their qualifications. If a tax preparer promises you larger refunds than the competition, consider it a red flag. Avoid tax preparers who offer refund anticipation loans, as you'll probably lose a large percentage of your return to commission fees. Find out whether you can contact the tax preparer all year long or only during tax season. Ask about extra fees for unexpected complications, and visit bbb.org to find an accredited tax preparer near you.
Community TV, your neighborhood TV.
Publicly funded and a reliable partner for cable companies nationwide. It provides transparent coverage of local and state government, education, and public programming.
A digital town green that can be watched anywhere, anytime, and on any device.
Watch us on today's high-tech distribution methods.
Community TV in Connecticut.
Local,
unfiltered,
reliable, and yours.
And welcome back to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host, and as always, thanks so much for being here. Well, we continue on with the Shoreline Playwrights, and Terry continues to be my guest. Terry, let's also talk about Drama Works. Located in Old Saybrook, Ed Wilhelms has been here before as a guest. Mm-hmm. You like it there. You've done pieces there. How is it to be associated with him in that theater? Is it a good space?
It's charming. It is such a nice space. It's a little black box, but you really get a sense that you're in a theater. I mean, if you shut your eyes, you could be in a little black box in New York City or in anywhere. He did a great job, great seats, great little stage. It's a lot of fun, and it's, for me, I'm spoiled. It's because I live in Old Saybrook, so it's right in my backyard. Mm-hmm. It's great. He's been very generous in that we've done several things there. Laura did a world premiere of her play Magpie. I forget now if it was in December. And it was great there. I actually workshopped a brand new play of mine. I did that in January, and I did it there, which was, he was it's a great space to do work, just to sort of like exercise and really work through your plays, to workshop them and see what needs to be done. It's a great space. I have nothing great things to say about Ed. I try to go to all his shows. It's a real little gem, and it's a real gem that not a lot of people. It's amazing to me how many people I speak to, and they're like, "Drama Works, where is that?"
Right.
I'm like, "It's right in our backyard." We really need to spread the word so that you have choices to do something other than. Well, there's a lot. You have the Playhouse, the Iverton Playhouse. You have the Kate, but the Kate doesn't do as many pieces. Ed really researches and looks for very interesting pieces to put on his stage, which is nice because it's something different than the old standards.
Yes.
And he's very supportive of us, which is great,
Yes.
and gives us a time slot, which is really it's great. I keep saying it's great, but it is great. It's great to be in that theater. You've been in that theater.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a great place to be. I don't know what else I can say about it.
I think Ed and Drama Works will love everything that we're just talking about right now, which is great.
Yeah.
Your website, let's talk about that. What will the viewer find when they visit it?
So when you go on our website, you'll find a little biography about Laura and a biography about myself. We've started a blog, which sort of talks about our journey as artists. And we're trying to put we have a lot of pictures of the shows that we have done, so you can get a real sense of who we are and the kind of work that we do. We're trying to get people to really connect with us, to know what kind of work that we do, so that if they see us, maybe perhaps we'll do something in another theater, and people will say, "Oh, Shoreline Playwrights, I really like the shows that those guys do. I really want to go see them." So we're just sort of like trying to build up a little bit of a following.
The future, how does it look for Shoreline Playwrights growing in 2023, 24, 25? Have you folks thought that working together has been a good thing to do?
I think so. I think we both, as I said before, I think we both have a lot of respect for each of our respective strengths. We complement each other, we work well together, and we are talking about doing other things. And we're talking to potentially other actors and other professionals.
Yeah.
Because it's great to have a community where you could get together. Maybe read each other's works, or maybe an actor has a piece that they want to try out for an audition. Sort of just create a community here of actors. And in the future, we would like to do more developmental works of ours, do more readings, which those are a lot of fun. We're doing one in Drama Works in December, and it's going to be holiday themed.
Oh, great.
So mine isn't written yet. Stay tuned. But it's going to be a work in process kind of thing, where you'll do a short piece that you want to make it longer, and then you invite an audience, and you have a talk back, and they tell you what they think, and you can actually hear it and find out, where you want to go with it. Because sometimes you'll write a piece and you think you're going one way, and then you hear it, and the actors will give it their own spin, and you're like, I didn't write it that way, but I like that, so I'm going to go that way. So that's kind of exciting, and we'd like to do that because we both have a very large inventory of work. So we'd like to do more of that, and that's a lot of fun to do those kind of readings. A little stressful, because usually you do. When I did my workshop in January of Grief, which is a full-length play that I've written. So the first night the actors read, and then you go away and you make changes. And then the next night they read again, and you go away and you make changes. And, the pressure is on you to go and really try to capture what you learned from the reading and get it into the page for the next day. Because you don't want to feel like you're wasting somebody's time. If they came and gave you the time to do your reading, you want to be able to make sure that you capture it and get it on the page so that they can hear the changes the next day. So those are the kind of things that we'd like to do more. and to put on more things at DramaWorks, because we really do love the space.
For my viewer that is out there, not only the actors, but the playwrights, or that would like to be like you, any advice as to how they can proceed? Do they need to do workshops, go to school like you did? Do they show up at DramaWorks and say, here, I've got something? What's the path that they should take?
That's a great question, because I think everybody finds a different path. I think it's always good to have some sort of education, whether it's classes at the Dramatists Guild. They have a writing certificate, which is great because you're learning from theater professionals. I think that's important. Connecting with other face-to-face theater professionals, joining in the same way that I found that local group where I did my script and hand reading. You meet fellow theater people, and that is so important. Submitting, finding where all the submitting opportunities are. You could do that via social media. There's Facebook groups. There are organizations that you could join. And a lot of times when you submit, you can pay. Sometimes you don't have to pay, they do it for nothing. They give you feedback. Even if your play's not chosen, you'll get feedback from one of the readers, which is really, I've gotten a few of those that's been really invaluable.
What happens when you perform in May, the micro shorts? What happens after it is done? What happens when Sunday matinee ends? What happens Monday? What do you do with what you've been through that weekend?
We do a lot of practical things. We strike the set, take down anything, take all our props and stuff home, and then Laura and I always have a debrief. Okay, how did this go? What did we learn? What could we do different? What really worked? What didn't work? And we keep all those notes, and we use them for the next production that we're working on, or for the next show or the next reading that we're working on. So we just try to build on every single thing that we do, and we start planning. We're always planning. We're like masterminds. We're always planning for the next thing.
For the next thing. Do you recommend that that's something that people should keep in mind? Do it, but keep moving forward and planning?
Absolutely, absolutely. You have to keep moving forward and planning. You have to kind of know where you want to go. You're never going to have an exact roadmap. If you had said to me 4 years ago that I would be doing several plays in DramaWorks, I didn't even know DramaWorks existed. I would have said, really? So you got to be fluid. You got to be able to sort of like roll with changes that come up. I think it's the only way to be. It's just so much fun, and enjoy the ride and see where the universe takes you.
We are starting to move towards running out of time.
Okay.
Do you have desires, or Laura as Shoreline Playwrights, or maybe individually, would it be great to be on Broadway? Have you thought about the big time dream?
Absolutely, absolutely, and it scares the heck out of both of us. Maybe not Laura as much as it scares me. Sure, we would love to be on Broadway, but I have to tell you, when my work is done in DramaWorks, there is, aside from being extremely nauseous because you're so nervous, there is such a rush and such a feeling. I mean, I'm never in the audience. You know, you're standing outside and you're waiting for the laugh. Did it come at the right place? Are people getting it? That's a rush that's inexplicable. Would it be nice to have it on Broadway and have it so that the theater community at large would hear it? Sure, that would be a huge validation. But I'm happy here too.
Are you?
I am. Which is not to say that I'm not moving forward, but I am very grateful for where we are at this moment.
What's the future look like when you get through micro shorts? I mean, you're going to, which is in May, everybody go and see it.
May 19th, 20th, and 21st.
That's right, at DramaWorks in Old Saybrook. What happens Monday when you strike the set and you're home and everything? Do you take a breather? Do you meet right away?
It depends on our schedules. I happen to be going away. I'm going away for 2 weeks, so Laura will get a break from me for 2 weeks. And then and believe it or not, we already have several meetings scheduled for when I come back.
Okay.
So that we can have the discussion, the post-show discussion, which I think is really important.
We are running out of time. Any closing thoughts for the viewer that you would like them to leave with about you and Shoreline Playwrights?
Come visit our website, shorelineplaywrights.com, so you could learn a little bit about us. Come see our shows, support DramaWorks, so that we can keep on supporting Ed's work and some new playwrights that would like to do some work there. And it's a lot of fun. It really is a lot of fun, so please come visit us.
Well, thank you so much for being here. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I'm coming to the show. I can't
good.
wait.
Good.
It's going to be wonderful. And congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And thank you all for being here today. So glad to have you. Hope you enjoyed the show. I'm Deborah Gilbert. You have been tuned in to Arts and Entertainment. Have a super day. I'll see you next time.